But for each and every person, there's a unique song that the universe is playing just for them. A song that only they can hear. Marching to the beat of our own drum leads to our greatest and most authentic self-expression, the gift we are meant to share with the world. In part 3 of my Her Own Drum inspirational video series, I'm sitting down to chat with Andrea An, co-founder of Nolita Studios. Using her incredible and creative talent in the areas of photography and videography, Andrea's focus is to help bring her clients' vision to life with the drive, patience, and passion that it takes to make it happen. Andrea An, how are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
It's so nice to sit down in front of the camera instead of behind and talk to you. Yes. Thanks for being a part of this inspirational video series.
Thank you so much for asking me to do this.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to get right into it. I have some questions to ask, and we're going to get into an inspiring conversation for all our viewers today. So I have such a great admiration for you as a business owner, entrepreneur. You're such a hard worker. You took what I would consider to be a leap of faith getting into, running a business and launching a business. So tell us a bit about what it was like to take that leap and do this.
I'm not going to lie, starting Nolita Studios was incredibly scary. And the only reason for that was because I grew up in a family where everyone just kind of worked. Like, they just worked their jobs. Yeah. I don't really feel like there was a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. It was really scary because I felt like I did such a linear route with my life. I went to school. I got a really good job right after I graduated from school. So for those of you who don't know, I do have a background in interior design. So I worked at an engineering firm, and then I just decided that I wanted to start my own business. So yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do it. I just felt like it was the right time, and I felt like this is who I want to be as a person, is to start a business, I guess.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so inspiring to hear that you just went for it and it feels right. And I think that's really important. You kind of going with your intuition, your instincts in this, right? You're not overthinking it, although there was probably a lot of planning involved. Let's shift gears a little bit. I want to know what Andrea was like as a child. So a lot of the times, when we think about childhood, we think about all the things that we imagined and we were passionate about, and that always ties into, for most people, adulthood in terms of where we go in our lives, what our calling is. So do you see elements of that in what you're doing now? What were you like as a kid?
I was a very interesting child. I wanted to be a million things. But at the end of the day, I always knew that I wanted to be an artist of some kind.
Okay.
And when I was growing up, I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a singer, and that's all I wanted to do. You could find me in my bedroom singing with a comb and just doing Christina Aguilera moves and everything. Destiny's Child was my favorite group. Yeah. I really wanted to get up on stage and just sing my heart out. But again, just following that path of going to school, I didn't feel like I could be an entertainer and follow those dreams. And my parents were just really adamant about me going to school. And so I felt like that was kind of the only direction that I could go down. So being a kid, though, I was always dipping my hands in everything. Okay. I painted when I was a kid. Right. I really dove into the musicality of just anything. I took voice lessons, I took piano lessons, and I also took a guitar class in high school. Yeah. And so, that's kind of how I started. I started off as an artist, as a musician first. So that's why people are really shocked to hear that I started a company that has to do with photography, which is really interesting. So, but I feel like that was a chapter that I don't want to say necessarily closed in my life, because Nolita Studios really revolves around artists. And so I feel like I'm channeling my energy, my musical energy into our company.
Yeah, that makes sense, because the company is diverse. I know you handle the photography and videography side of things, but you work with a lot of music artists, obviously with your business partner and boyfriend, Jesse. So you guys work with a lot of artists and collaborating and bringing, the art itself to life in so many different forms, which I think is amazing and so unique and so inspiring. So let's talk a little bit about the business itself, because I've worked with you quite a bit. It's been so cool to be a part of so many projects now. We're doing more and more and more together. You put in a lot of long hours. What drives you? What's the inspiration and motivation behind why you're doing this? Why? What gets you fired up to get up in the morning and go out and do what you do for all those hours every day?
I feel like the way Jesse and I formed Nolita Studios, if Nolita Studios was a person, we created a company that kids would have needed when they were younger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, when I was like trying to be an artist, I really felt like I was alone because all I did was R&B music and pop music, and we lived in Saskatchewan, and I just felt like no one could help me.
Right.
Whereas if I approached a company like Nolita Studios, I feel like they could have taken me into a direction that would have really helped me. Because now that when people come into the studio, they have so many questions, like starting artists, they have so many questions. And I love knowing that I've helped an artist get to the next step. And so that's the thing that really fires me up, like to wake up every morning, because it's like I can help them. And I really would have appreciated all this help when I was starting out, because it's really hard. Like the music industry is such a gray area. It's really hard to research things and like not find answers. So I do feel just helping people, it just really makes me excited. And on top of that, it can still be really creative at the same time. Providing guidance is just one facet to our company. But at the same time, I also specialize in doing music videos. So I'm such a creative person. Like I've always been really interested in music videos when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And to be able to like start everything on my own and to have people come to us because they trust us, it's such an incredible feeling.
I can't agree with you more in terms of the idea that you told me what you're doing. You know, there's a service element to that you're giving something to someone. And that's exciting and that's so fulfilling. And I think that's where true joy and happiness lies. So the fact that you're tapping into that so early on in building this business and launching the business is, I mean, you're already on the right track as far as I'm concerned. That's so exciting. So let me ask you a little bit now about, you know, personal advice that you'd have. You're a young entrepreneur, and again, huge admiration. When I was your age, I had a car and I had a job. That was what I did. So, wow. So what advice would you give to a woman who's wanting to follow that passion, that feeling of desire that they have inside, and march to the beat of her own drum? What would you want to say? What advice would you give?
I know this sounds incredibly cliche, but don't ever be afraid to be who you are. It's so important to be yourself because that authenticity, it's just really important. People can feel that vibe from you if you're being fake. And it's not that you're trying to impress people, but you want to be happy with yourself at the end of the day. That's another thing that wakes me up every day, is just knowing that I can be truly myself, and it attracts people who are like the same type of people to me. But the thing that I would tell women is be yourself, but at the same time, don't be afraid to take chances, because that's what I did. And this is the life that it brought me. And taking risks is what will help you grow. And if I didn't take this risk of quitting my job and then going full blown into this Nolita Studios business, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't take a risk. So be yourself, take chances, and don't be afraid to take risks.
Yes. That, you know, it's not cliche to me. Being yourself and taking those chances and not, you know, not waiting for the opportunity to come to you, but, you know, just going out and doing it. I think we need more people like that in the world that, you know, are ready and willing to just give of themselves freely and openly. And like I said, you've tapped into something that, I mean, if you could look back and say, yeah, I'm going to do this when I'm this age, you probably wouldn't believe what you're doing right now, would you?
No, not at all. No.
So yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are going to say, wow, this girl is incredible. She's doing so many amazing things, and she's got such a long road ahead. So yes. Okay, so I said I was going to ask you a question that, you know, you weren't necessarily going to know about, and I hemmed and hawed, but I think for me, I'd like to know, Andrea An, what your definition of passion is.
Passion means to follow your heart.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny because you have a song that's about
I do. That's funny.
But yeah, that's what it means to me. It's to just follow your heart. Like, I feel like the world that I created was just simply from following my heart. Like, I understand that you have to think oftentimes, but I just feel like following your heart is just so important.
So one more question, because you nailed that last one. I mean, it was very direct, but I think very, very heart-centered, obviously. What does Andrea do to find balance? Because a lot of the times, you know, with the flow of business and the flow of work, we lose sight of nurturing ourselves, taking care of ourselves. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. I've been down that road. What do you do to create balance in your schedule, to create balance in your life?
I do a lot of things in a day that make me really excited, but I just have to make sure that I have time constraints to each thing. So I do have a routine. So like I wake up in the morning and then I typically look at all my emails, but I only give myself an allocated time to like look at my emails because you shouldn't be looking at that all day long. No. And then I just work. I work and work and work, but until 9 o'clock. I try not to do anything past 9 o'clock. And then after that, I wind down. If I feel like going for a bike ride, then I'll do that. I try to give myself a little bit of time for everything, but like not too much time, but not enough time, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that's what I do.
Good. You know, that's really important. And I think the fact that you use time parameters and you try to kind of create a schedule that, you know, gives you your freedom to, like I said, be creative, but also just, I think the nurturing, right? The nurturing yourself is really important. So well done. And I know it's a work in progress because it is for me too. But I really appreciate you taking the time today to just, you know, open up and be openly expressive and just let us into your world a little bit. And can't wait to see what the future brings for Nolita Studios. And, you know, I can see a very bright future ahead. So thanks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.